Hello and welcome to the Table Talk Wednesdays here at the CDL Cafe, where leadership isn't just talked about, it's challenged. This isn't your typical leadership conversation. This is where we gather around the table every week to ask hard questions and put character back to the center of how we lead. Sometimes it's just us, the team, sharing real reflection, and sometimes we pull up an extra seat for a guest whose voice brings fresh perspective, bold insight, and lived experience to the table. Because around here, we believe leadership that isn't rooted in character won't last. Leadership that doesn't challenge the system won't change it. And leadership that's all image and no substance isn't leadership at all. So grab your coffee, lean in, and let's get into today's table talk. Let's go.
All right. Welcome back to a new Table Talk Wednesdays at the CDL Cafe. And as usual, we are talking about leadership, specifically character in leadership, bringing character back to the center of leadership. And to do that, we have to confront sensitive topics. And when we say sensitive topics, we're talking about the topics that most so-called leaders avoid to ask themselves or ask their teams or ask the people that they are following. As long as there's an interest or popularity or a perfect performance, no one will dare to ask these questions. No one will stand in front of the mirror and start asking these questions. So we decided that at the cafe, we are going to bring these topics to the table and discuss them with love over coffee, sharing different perspective around these topics, because our aim is to help each and everyone who's listening to us and joining the community to become a VIP leader, a leader who walks with values, integrity, and principles. So that's much it. I don't like to give too much, especially today. The topic today is the leaders who talk too much. So I don't want to be talking too much. Let's jump into it and discuss this sensitive topic, because today we are suffering from noise. Leaders are talking too much. So we are going to be asking questions and unpacking why people are talking too much and what's the difference between talking and performing and leading. Let's see how the conversation will go. Because in the character-driven leadership cafe, we don't prepare for any type of conversation. We just speak our heart, share our perspective. Everything is natural, because that's what we believe in. It's not rehearsal. It's not, I don't want to call names of institutes and places that prepare people to become best performers by rehearsing things. I'm not saying that rehearsing is bad. It's important, but to a certain extent. When we misuse it, it becomes dangerous. And I believe that today we are witnessing so many performers because of such systems. So let's the conversation start. Dr. McKinsey, what do you think about the topic?
Well, I do think, and it always, to me, when your topics are always so, they're so in depth, and it causes me to have to really think. And when I started thinking about this topic that you had and you came up with, it took me back to what you talked about, the three types of, I think you said two types of leaders. They're performers and then they're movers. And then I don't know if you had
The
a third one in there that
You
was
have the
just a leader.
three types.
Yeah, the three types
Three
of
types.
leaders. What's the
Yeah,
third? What's that third
it's
one?
the third one is leaders, because you have
It's just the
movers,
leader.
you have
Hmm.
perform, and then you have leaders.
Okay. Yeah,
Yep.
so it took me back to that very thing. Performers, especially when the subtopic performers versus the leader. A performer, to me is someone who they're gonna say whatever is needed to be said. A performer is going to act the way that's gonna get them the most um, accolades. A performer is gonna do whatever it takes to please um,
Mhm.
uh, those that they are leading, or those that they that may be over them, depending on what you're talking about. So I think it's an appropriate topic, especially for this day and time. you know just over the last week, maybe or two, I see that that's been a very it's been a that's been a topic of conversation, not in like we're talking about it here, but more so I see it, and I'm liking it to the conversation that we're having. And I'll probably try to mesh it in here as we have this conversation, because you have a lot of people that want to talk but aren't leaders, you know.
Hmm.
And you have some leaders that don't talk a lot, you know. Some leaders don't talk a lot. They do more in their action than they do in their um in their words, in the words. So
Awesome.
I just
Awesome.
accepted
Hey,
the
Atala.
Hi, how are you? What's having
I
having
can't
issues?
see neither one of y'all.
Finally. No?
I can hear
The
y'all,
in
but
Ah,
I can't see either one of y'all. I don't know what's going on
yeah,
today. This is
it's
crazy.
just it has been crazy a little bit today with the internet connection,
Yeah,
but we are here
I
now.
don't know what's going on. Yep, absolutely. So good to be here with y'all. But yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, but that's what I think. I think the conversation. This is a needed conversation. It's a conversation that a lot of folks don't want to have, and a lot of people, because it will put them on Front Street and hold them
hmm.
accountable for their actions as a leader. You know.
You know, when you were talking, I was thinking about performers. Let's think of a machine. Now, this machine is not going to operate perfectly unless it has these small parts performing well within the system
Hmm. Hmm.
to make the whole machine works. So small parts are performing well within the system to make the whole machine work fine. And all the parts are performing for the benefit of the machine. I hope that this makes sense. I hope that this thing that I'm sharing with you uh, make you think and provoke your thoughts around this idea. When you perform, you are performing within a system, and this system benefits the whole machine that you are a part of. So I think that this is why people avoid or try to um, try to avoid confronting these topics, because they want to stay in the performing seat. They want to be liked. They want to be applauded. Uh, so this is it. This is it. These are the performers. They are the parts within the machine that benefits, or within the system that benefits the whole machine.
You know what came to
Uh,
my mind now that you mentioned that it will be so important to have like a not just the leaders, on the top, but also like, for example, management, right? Every single area of organization the management, the leader can be also be trained to be able to perform, not just performing, but to truly going with the vision, the mission, the objectives, what there is resolve the company. What happened also is like there is a lot of divisions in any company, in any organization, and we know everybody's pulling to their own interests. But I think it's a really like detoxing, right? Like cleaning also, because when an organization has so many leaders and the leaders are not in agreement, they are not really well trained, they are really looking for their own interests, any organization is going to collapse. All the units in an organization, because it's about evaluating also. I mean, many times we see like big companies, small companies, if they don't really have not just meetings to see what is going to be the outcome that they want to create, the teams by themselves, how they're performing, what are their thoughts, what are the inputs, what are those emotions that they are behind also when they're creating something. I think evaluation, but unification too, like having a roadmap for each unit, each leader with their own staff. I'm hoping that makes sense, this.
Yeah, it does. It does. So let's begin by asking, what's your favorite drink? So before we start our conversation on the table, let's have our drinks and let's go from there.
I love the cappuccino.
Atala,
One of my favorites.
that's your favorite.
Latte, cappuccino, yes.
No, you choose cafe latte or cappuccino.
Let's go for cafe latte. That sounds good to me.
Cafe latte. All right. Your cafe latte tells you, why do some leaders mistake constant talking for confidence?
For lack of awareness, for conscious, for fear. I would say that. Many times the fact of talking also is showing us that maybe we want to pretend, right? We want to control maybe in a certain way. So I will say that that's for those reasons.
Perfect. Dr. McKenzie, what's your drink?
I have a ginger ale.
Ginger ale.
Mm-hmm.
Your ginger ale. Let's see, what do we have here? Okay. What makes listening a stronger measure of leadership and credibility?
Say that again for me.
What makes listening a stronger measure for leadership? Like, let's reframe it. What
No, I
makes
get it.
the listening? Yeah.
No, I think because as leaders, I have an acronym for leader, right? And the
Mm,
L stands for listen and learn.
mm,
You can't learn if you don't listen, and you listen to learn. So the more that I'm listening to the industry, the more I'm listening to those that work for me, the more that I'm listening to the marketplace, the better I am, or the better leader that makes me. And it's also I also believe it's why God gave us two ears and one mouth. So we listen more than we speak, because it gives us that ability to be able to take in things, analyze them, and to be able to gain knowledge from listening, and being able to apply that knowledge versus talking all the time and not listening.
mm.
It's a huge thing for me. You have to be able to listen if you're going to be a strong leader.
But let me ask you here a question. Like, most people think that if they talk too much, showing that they know much or they know better, um, makes them, a credible leader. What would you say about that? Most people think that if they talk too much and show like the knowledge that they have, it makes them, like, what would you say about that?
I think it's ego. I think some people, some people, like you said, they think just because they talk a lot that they're saying a lot. And I've
Hmm.
met people, know people that talk a lot and say nothing. They call it word salad, where it's just a bunch of nothing. It means absolutely nothing what you just said. And a lot of people they think just because if they talk a lot that will make up for the substance of what it is that they, something means that they'll make up for not having any substance. And people have
Hmm.
to understand, if they can understand that, then they can understand what makes a good leader, because a good leader can say two words and it could be the most powerful two words that people have ever heard, you know. And you could have someone that is in leadership and they go on and do a whole soliloquy, and you'd be like, what did they just say? Like, I don't get it at all. So I think those people that talk a lot, the majority of the time, the ones that talk a lot are trying to compensate for not having anything to say. Hopefully that makes sense.
Hmm. Yeah, total sense. What would you say, Atala?
I think that also this depends the personality styles. No? I know people that they are very talkative, that they do have a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom, but also is that style. They want to control the environment, they want to control the conversations, right? So there are personalities also too. There are some others that, of course, they want to pretend, they talk, and the message is not reached. As you mentioned, I mean, sometimes a couple of words can have an impact, and people will listen to those words with intention because it was transformation on those two words. But I think it's personality type also, and also I believe that sometimes leaders want to always, wear that kind of title. So sometimes the title can overcome really your purpose or the intention of the company. I think that's important. Leader is a small word with a huge impact. We need to know how we're wearing it on daily basis.
Right, right. So today, when we look at social media and we see people posting here and there and talking too much, you know, do you think that this is the cost of people not understanding what does leadership mean? Or do you think that it's feeding, I mean, they know it, but it's feeding their ego, so they will keep it as it is. Let's uh, let's discuss this point with Dr. McKinsey first.
Well, I think that the majority of the people on social media, and they can get mad. They gonna get mad at me. This is me, not Doctor. This is not Dr. Mackey. This is not Coach Fowler saying it. This is me. So come for me because I want the smoke. And I think that social media, while it is a great thing because we're able to have these conversations that we have on here and everything like that, and it's great technology. But when I look at the the different lives that are on social media, I think it does us as a society disservice. And I say that because the majority of the the top these shows or whatever you want to call them on social media, they don't discuss pertinent topics. It's usually
Hmm.
about people, it's about trends, and it's about um, really nothing. And that's why I call them cotton candy conversations. We don't have cotton candy conversations here. We have conversations of substance, conversations that move that we want to move the needle. We want to make people better. We want to make leaders better. That's why we have topics like we have today. Do you as a leader talk too much? After the end of this conversation, after you sit down, you sat down and you've either participated or you've listened to us and this dialogue, you'll be like, well, man, I didn't, do I really talk too much? Am I really saying something of substance? And so social media has given people this what is it, vanity, this vanity of thinking that they have influence, they have relevance, and they're talking about stuff that doesn't make out us as a society, us as leaders, us as the marketplace, us as industries and the world. It doesn't make us better. There's this saying that poor people discuss other people, rich people discuss problems, wealthy people discuss solutions. I think I got that right. I hope I got it right. But that's why the conversations that we have here are wealthy conversations because we're talking solutions. Whereas everybody else wants to either to be talking about people, those trends, they're chasing trends. Oh, what's the hot topic of today? What is everybody else talking about that we can talk about so that they can get clicks, so that they can get likes, so that they can get subscribers, so that they can get people followers and be called an influencer. Not that we don't want to have, people that subscribe to what we're doing, subscribe and follow us and everything like that. We do. But our goal and our aim is so much different than everybody else's. And even in everything that I do, I'm not a part of things that are just trendy. Trends come and go. Trends fade, come back, fade again,
Doctor, you're
leave
still there?
again. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you hear me, Atala?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Yeah. So those that chase trends, you're gonna lose every single time. It's only when you chase character, when you chase substance, when you chase transparency. That's where you win. That's where you make a difference in the marketplace, in the industries, and in the world today as a leader.
I agree with you, Dr. Mackenzie. I understand that right now it's more like entertainment, no? Because people want to, relax, don't think about the problems, scrolling all the time.
Right.
It's too much going on off and on. I mean, all the time, no? And I think that if we use it in a way that we can truly add value to people's lives, it makes a huge difference. But unfortunately, everybody looks for what is going on in the other person's life, in the
Right.
artist, not even in a positive way, like what is happening in the world, how we can improve this situation, how we can create better, not just leaders, better relations with our own families, for example, how we can start implementing values. The integrity, the principles that we always talk, I believe that is creating like I would say a mental chaos because we see more and more how people start being drained emotionally by just spending hours and hours, and the consumption of the information that we're absorbing is taking our energy from us. In every single area, you look at it, there are so many good people that do amazing things, of course, like in every area, but most of the majority is really information that actually take away self-esteem, energy, confidence. I mean, even relationships is I think is something that we need to be really, really thinking about it because it's affecting lives. It's affecting truly lives, and that's something that is not minor. We're taking for granted. I see every single day more and more problems, not just in parents, with their kids, even adults being controlled by. So what is the information that you're absorbing? That's going to have a huge impact in your mind, in your health. And how do you receive the day? So I don't believe that just the leadership has been able to upgrade their mind, their awareness about how we are showing to the world, because we're in the world, how we are sharing our call, our purpose, with which intention. I don't think there is consciousness there.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to pick as much as I can from what you all shared, because the screen was froze a couple of times, so I lost the conversation. But I tried to pick as much as I can and understand what you're saying and what you're pointing at. I believe we were talking about people following trends, and what we're doing here is substance and everything. So let me ask you this question, and I'm gonna direct this question to Atala. What does silence communicate that words cannot?
Many things. It's so powerful. Silence can tell you, can give you direction through, can increase your leadership. Actually, it's amazing. We should use silence, all of us, in every single area. It's powerful. Silence is like a plus, you know?
I want you to elaborate more, and also I want the input of Dr. McKinsey, because this is what we are trying to be honest, like, this is the purpose of today's topic, is to tell people that there are a lot, signals and messages from just being silent. So I want you both to elaborate on that. Just continue, Atala, then I will need Dr. McKinsey to elaborate on this also.
I see silence actually calms all the noise. It regenerates energy. It actually rejuvenate your body, your mind, strengthen your spirit, where a lot of truths are there. It gives you direction, it gives you intuition, it gives you clarity. And I think when we have clarity, that also allows us to embrace our call, whatever it is, to a higher level. So I think, to me, silence is vital. Like when nothing is bothering, and there is a close relationship actually for me with God. So it gave me the clarity. And if we talk about the benefits in the body, it's amazing what we can do. Really, the body responds better. The immune system is stronger, but also the cortisol level relax. So we are able to be more at peace, calm, to make better decisions as well. And when we are more at peace, everything starts flowing better. We create better decisions, but also more ideas. There is more creativity, more understanding, and relationships start being more in alignment. So silence is fundamental. It's, I think, something that we should embrace every single day.
Great.
Yeah.
Dr. McKinsey,
Yeah,
what
I
would you
think
say?
well, silence can be powerful. It can be very powerful. It's silence is a form of communication as well. Um, it can communicate a lot of things. As a leader, looking from a leadership perspective, as you are a leader and you're silent, it gives you the opportunity to observe. It gives you the opportunity to analyze. Your silence could be, "Hey, I'm thinking internally about the situation, and I'm able to kind of am I seeing something?" And you're not hearing anything because you're being silent and you're actually thinking. And I have this concept of think it through, which is where you use observation. It's a golf kind of a concept where if you look at a golfer, a golfer on the golf course speaks no words. He or she may say the only thing to their caddy is give me a 9-iron. You know what? That may be he'll ask for the type of golf club that they need. That's the only thing that they need. and that they will convey. Everything else is about them being silent and seeing and observing and analyzing and then figuring out how they need to go about approaching what it is that they need to do, which is getting the ball from where they are to closest to the hole as possible, if not a hole in one. So that's one way of silence. That's of how what silence can do for you as a leader. It gives you the opportunity to observe and to analyze. Um, the second form of silence, from the other perspective, when you are a leader and the folks are looking to gain direction from you, it can be a thing where it's like, okay, what are we doing? What do we do? What's the next step? So it can be intimidating. And then the third one can be, and this is from a parent perspective, and this is me growing up. I could always tell my mother, if you want to get my mother angry, leave dishes in the sink overnight. I don't know if this is any of y'all, if y'all have had this experience either. She could not, me growing up, she could not stand having dishes in the sink. My mom growing up, she worked 2 jobs. Her coming home to having dishes in the sink and having to was she would be so upset, but she wouldn't say a word.
Silent.
She was silent, and we knew she was mad because she would not say a word. And it's funny because me as an adult now, when I'm upset or if there's something that I'm trying to really figure out, I get quiet. I get absolutely quiet and become silent. So those are the different dynamics to me of what I think about when I think about being a leader, being silent, being a leader, and trying to figure things out and trying to lead, guide, and what that silence can do for me, but then also what that silence can mean as well, too. So it can mean a couple different things to me.
So let me ask you this question. When you think of great leaders,
hmm
were they people who talked too much, or they were people who were silent and led, communities, societies, or nations?
Now, to me, I think that those that I deem to be great leaders, they were effective in their communication. If it took silence, then that's what they would do. If it took them having to say something and step forward and kind of speak out, then they would do that. I'll give you an example. In the movie Selma, which is about the boycott in Selma, Alabama, that Dr. King was a pivotal part in the civil rights movement, and they were getting ready to march over the Edwin Pettus Bridge, which is a famous bridge down in Mississippi or Selma, Alabama, I believe. Yeah, Selma, Alabama. And they were going to be marching from, I think, Selma to somewhere else, but that bridge was going to be the first approach that they had. And the first time that Dr. King led them to the bridge, they at the other end of the bridge were these troopers, state troopers. They were blocking the way. So he's walking, and everybody's behind him, and he stops, and he doesn't say a word. He kneels down, and I believe he said a prayer, and he waited a couple of seconds or whatever, a couple of minutes, and he turns around and he walks back the other way, the same way that he just came. And the next scene, the leaders of the civil rights movement, they're in this church and they are reaming Dr. King. I mean, they read him the right act. Dr. King, you need to say something. You need to tell us something because we need to know what to do. That type of thing. And the only thing that he said in that moment was he would rather them hate him for that moment than for them to be led into something that was going to take their lives, something like that. He didn't want to put their lives in danger at that moment. But he didn't say a word. He didn't tell anybody, do you think that we should go? He took it upon himself. He took a moment to do what I was just saying a few minutes ago about observation, analyzing, thinking the moment through, and then just started heading back the other way. And then the next time that they go towards the bridge, or they go to the bridge, they keep walking, and they walk over the bridge, and they walk from, I forgot where they were, walk to Selma, which is where they were fighting for the voters' rights and everything like that. But in that moment, Dr. King was silent. He took that moment, and he explained to some of the leaders about, a little bit about the decision that he made, but he didn't go into this big drawn out, uh, dramatic thing about why he did it. He was just like, look, I didn't feel it. I didn't want to put you all's lives in danger because lives could have been taken, and he didn't want that. He didn't want that on his conscience. That's the sign of a leader to me, where you're silent when you need to be, but you also voice you're not afraid to exert your voice when necessary as well too.
I think that's the key, no? The observation too, because sometimes you don't need to say anything. It's just by observing you learn a lot, and you can actually see the needs in your staff, in people. I remember when I was in the hospital, I was leader of international patients, and I was just sometimes going through everywhere just by observing. You see the needs by observing. You become so good in the facial expression. It was unbelievable because you can actually understand when there is a need beyond what you can actually your eyes can see. When you start going through that observation process, it gives you a lot of direction also, because you're going to be able to have that the intuition that develops too. So I think that observation that you just mentioned is fundamental, and also to know exactly when to talk and when to just be quiet.
Yeah. And to me, that's the sign of a great leader, is knowing when to talk and when to shut up and listen.
Yes, practically. Yeah.
You
know what? You just remind me something. One day I was disappointed about something that was happening there, honestly, because it was too much going on. It was too much noise, and everybody was performing, but just under a lot of stress, a lot of stress. So I say something has to happen here, because there is no way. Everybody was complaining. When you hear so many complaints, you are not performing to them. You are not doing your best because you are emotional drained. So I say something has to happen. So what I did, observe the process, what was happening, everybody of our team, and then start documenting everything, because I need proofs. In that way, I can go and talk what I need to talk. And I went to a meeting, and it was amazing because through all the data and the observation, it helped me to really say, this is the problem. We need to find a solution. This is not for the solution for myself, but for a team that is always taking care of people here. And it was amazing, the turn point, because it changed a lot of things. But it has to be through observation. Data, I think, is important. And actually knowing that when you're going to talk, you're going to have results. Believing that you're going to make a change also for the best of somebody else or for your team.
So, Dr. McKinsey, now you shared a historical leader, and you shared he knows how to communicate, when to be silent and when to talk. I believe that silence was more powerful than any word in such moments, because a lot of leaders think, and if we look at what's going on today, we see that a lot of those who call themselves leaders, I call them performers, to be honest, because they wait for the moment where they get on stage and start talking to people, and they love it. And this is a performance, because there is no substance in whatever they're saying. They're just filling the blanks just to, to fill the list of trending news, you know.
Mhm.
But let's not go there. Let me let me focus on the question itself.
Okay.
Uh, with with what you have shared, we saw that silence is more powerful than words, and we can learn a lot from historical leaders.
Hmm.
My question is, why do you think that, regardless of all the gems that we have from historical leaders and from live examples, we still
Hmm.
have leaders today who feel the need of talking?
Well, I think that, like I said, that, I mean, and Natalia said it too, that there does have to be a balance. I don't think there's any great leader that has been completely silent. They become the leader because of the voice that they have, and I think that a true leader understands when that voice needs to be heard. You know, you know, on I love the hip hop rapper KRS One. He has a he has a CD or a tape called Edutainment. And in one of the songs, it starts off with having this gentleman do, he's at, it's a speech, but he talks about great leaders, George Washington. He talks about Dr. King. He talks about, I think, Malcolm X. And he says, if you place them in those historic moments and places where they are, and there's nobody there to listen to them, does it make them a great leader? A great leader is only as strong as their voice. A great leader is only as strong as their influence. And great leader is only as strong as the morality and the character that they possess and that they show. Think of any great leader that I can think of. I think of them having character. I, excuse me, I think of them having integrity. I think of them having values. I think of them having principles. And we know of those values, integrity, and principles, not only because they exude it or they exemplify it, but they also voice values, integrity, and principles. And if they
Hmm.
didn't do that, then we wouldn't know where they stood on on certain situations. We wouldn't even know how we got over on things that are challenges to us. A great leader gives direction, and you can't give direction if you are silent, because people have to know what to do. They have to know who's doing this, where to go, what direction we're going in. They have to actually understand the vision and the mission of the leader, and the leader has to be willing to dictate that and
Hmm.
voice that. You know, the other ones that you were talking about that get caught up in the, it's all about me. Look at me. I'm talking, see me saying something. Those are the ones that you can tell that aren't true leaders, because they want the light on them. They did not sound good, didn't what I said, really, moving people, you know, so I think a true leader understands that the very thing when their voice is needed in order for people to understand truly and to move the people. Because think about it, every leader's
Hmm.
voice moves people. Anyone that's a successful leader, their voice moves people.
Yes.
I
We
agree
need
with you,
to.
Dr. Mackenzie.
I
Yes.
need to hold. I need to hold. Voice moves people, because I was gonna
Hmm.
ask you who's responsible for the false understanding that leaders always talk. Like, why did we reach here today? And I think that when you said voices moves people, you know,
Mhm.
it's been so much misused.
Mhm.
This
Mhm.
this this sentence that you have just said, it has been so much misused
Yeah. Yeah.
that today we have so many people who mastered talking, who mastered the language, who mastered the performance because
Mhm.
of this
Mhm.
statement, you know?
But you know why that is though? Because people, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe most people want to feel good. They would rather believe the fantasy than the truth of a situation.
Hmm.
They really do. And that's why those that are pretenders, like you said, or performers, they can perform because they know that what they're saying caters to the emotional feelings of people and those that are listening to them.
But I think
Those
that,
that don't. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yes, but I think that it's just the difference is just the ego. The ego is the one
Hmm.
that just controls everything, you know? Everybody wants
Yeah.
to be popular.
Yeah.
Everyone. But why do you want to be popular? Do you want to be popular because you have a cause, you want to really, really help people to increase their consciousness in a certain way, or just because popularity is the trending, right? You
Yeah.
want to feel
Mhm.
that you are visible, that somebody's listening to you. So we need to go very deep because popularity means a lot of things too, but also
Yeah.
the wounds that every person has as a leader, as a human being, also they are there. When we want to always be on front, that means that let's see why you always want to be in that way, you know, why you always want to control. I mean, come on, let's
Hmm.
go deep, deep, deep. So I think it's a lot. It's personality, it's character, it's your values, again, it's the integrity, the principles that we always talk, but also is what is the meaning behind, the real meaning behind. We all want, you know, a lot of
Hmm.
um, the likes, the this, the that. Why do I want that? Because that made me feel better. That's the dopamine that made me feel better, right? So if we don't have all this, you know, materialistic, superficial stuff, who still be? Who we are? Doesn't matter. You still be. You are here. You have a purpose. You have a mission. You have a call in this world. So let's embrace this. In that way, all the other things are gonna come naturally. Naturally. You don't have to fight and look and, you know, you have to move. You have to do your job. You have to grow in every single area of life. But leadership means a lot of things too, based on our own way to perceive life. Some of us were very talkative. Some of those we love to speak. But some others we are lacking the confidence. So we also involve in our own words because that means that I'm showing something. So I think it's very deep what we're talking about. It's not just superficial stuff. It's got deep, deep in mindset, emotions, values, in I don't know. I mean, it's like a combination of. It's like a combo.
It
Words
is.
are deep, have an impact. Every word we say has an energy, vibration, impact in people's lives. So we should be very careful how we use our words. Are they uplifting somebody or are they killing somebody? You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So, with that being said, do you think that communication replaced credibility in today's modern leadership?
I
I
would
don't think
say
communicate.
I would say no.
Go ahead, Tom. No, go ahead.
Can control, but I don't think will replace. I think people listen. I think people has some kind of awareness when they are listening to somebody. Sometimes like I don't like this street, right? However, it can control many things because
Hmm.
communication, not just what we say, it's everything is communicating. So sometimes you can see somebody with great messages, but they are not listening because he's missing the other beautiful things, the superficial, but you know, the superficial and beautiful things, the extra things. So
Hmm.
I think it's really like depends on the awareness of each person. How did you hear somebody? and your level of awareness is going to have the impact that you allow that person to have in you. That makes sense?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
What's your input, Dr. McKenzie?
Read the question
Do
one
you
more time because I want to make sure I understood it.
do you think that communication replaced credibility in today's modern leadership?
No, well, no, I don't think communication can replace credibility because, and the reason I say that is because I believe that communication either acknowledges credibility or it either what's the word I'm looking for? It either um, solidifies credibility or it makes you not credible.
Mm.
And because the way I communicate, I'm going to either be seen as credible or not credible. If I am
Mm-hmm.
someone who is communicating a bunch of falsehoods and a bunch of false things and nothing that I say is truth, then what I'm communicating is non-credibility. If I if the things that I'm saying are truth, if the things that I'm saying are relevant, if the things that I'm saying turn out to be something that people believe in, it builds credibility. So your communication either builds or tears down your credibility. I don't think it replaces it. I don't think it can replace it. It acknowledges either you're a credible person or you're not a credible person. Because if you're somebody that keeps on putting putting out great things or saying great, communicating great things, then people will see you as that. Be like, wow, I really, I really got something when I listened to this person. I really didn't get something when I listened to this person. It's almost like when you go to church, and there are some pastors and some preachers that you really, they communicate very well. They have a great way of connecting with you and bringing different words, and then you have some you be like, "Ooh, when is this thing gonna be over?" Well, I can't wait to get out of here. That type of thing. And so
Yep.
you really do. I don't think it will. It can't replace it. It either acknowledges it or it proves it to be something that's not credible. So especially in today, you've got to really the way that you communicate, and especially through social media. We can't stress that enough. Leadership. I hope that the leaders that are listening to this or that will watch this later on understand how you communicate will prove you to be one of two things, either credible or non-credible. It will show that. And if you're talking too much, if you're communicating too much, yeah, you can turn people away. And when I saw the title, Doc, it made me think about the old Run DMC song, You Talk Too Much. You talk too much. Man, you never shut up. I said, you talk too much. That's
Mm.
been ringing in my head ever since you had it because there are people that talk too much. There are people that will over communicate if people believe that there's such a thing. It's like sometimes, well, yeah, there are. Because I even had, I had people when we're on shows like this, I'm always cognizant, like I think we all are, of am I talking too much? I don't want to take over, I don't want to be hogging all of the time. So I want to be cognizant of me communicating. And I don't want to talk too much. I want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to be able to effectively communicate. So yeah, I don't think it'll replace it. I think it'll either give you credibility or it'll give you non-credibility where you won't be credible. Oh, is he there, Tyler? Because I can't see him.
Yes. We're still here. I just wanted to mention that
The
I
screen was
completely agree with you, Dr. McKinsey. That's the difference. It will never be replaced, but it will be actually reinforce your leadership or your authority, or your credibility.
Mhm.
Based on.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
because your
Well,
credibility is. Wait a minute, I'm sorry, real quick. Your credibility is going to be predicated on how you communicate.
right, right. No, I love it. I love it. Although the screen was freezing,
Frozen sometimes.
Uh-huh.
yeah, it
Okay.
froze. It froze, but hopefully the message is clear. Thank you both for sharing all that. And as you said, Atala, this topic is very deep and wide, and we can look at it from different angles. And I mean, there are so many things to be covered within this topic, uh, as much as like the other ones that we discussed earlier. And if we did part two, part three, part four, will never end, but
Yeah.
they all complete each other, right? And that's why we tell people to, stick with us, watch the table talks. You will get, you will get something out of it.
Hmm.
We're talking about many topics that are sensitive, being avoided, and they are all connected together. You can find the answer that you're looking for within these raw conversations that we're having. We are on the top of the hour, but before we go, I want each one of you to um, share, like, what can leaders today practice? What is a practical, or what are the practical steps that they can do to replace talking with transformation?
I would say that do like a ritual on daily basis. Spend 5 to 10 minutes to that you can just be silent. That you can truly connect with yourself, connect with your body, connect with that mind, that beautiful mind that sometimes we need to just kind of shut down practically. In that way, we are having more clarity, not less clarity. We're having more energy, not less energy, and we're actually we're helping our body to heal
Hmm,
and to have more direction. And that's super important for every single leader, but for every single person.
awesome. Dr. McKinsey.
Yeah. I'll say this, and I like the way that you worded that, that talking to transformation, because talking can lead to you want your talking to lead to transformation, and I wrote down you have to be you have to first listen, which means you do have to be silent. You have to be quiet. You have to be willing to hear what it is that people are saying. You have to observe. You have to see with your eyes, and see what the situation calls for. You have to analyze, which is once you've observed, then you take the data that you've taken in, and you do an analysis of it, and says what it tells you. What is it telling you? And then that will lead to how you communicate and what it is that needs to be said. But the example that I gave to you earlier about Dr. King, he listened, he observed, he saw what was around. He analyzed. He said, "Okay, this data that I'm seeing, these state troopers and everything like that, that doesn't look like it's going to turn out well for us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to communicate that for right now. We're going to go back. We're going to regroup, and then we can see what the next approach can be." And he effectively communicated that with his silence, with just walking and everybody else then following him, but then getting back to the church and communicating to them what he saw, and what he was feeling inside. I think that's how you go from talking to transformation and effective communication.
Awesome. I believe that this message that you have just shared, Dr. McKinsey, is something that you have shared on one of your lives I was watching a few days ago.
Hmm.
Right? Am I right? You were
Yeah,
telling. You were talking about people grouping together and working together to achieve one mission,
Uh-huh. hmm I
right?
mean, and yeah, and that's what you have to do. It has to be you have to be on one mission, one vision, and everybody effectively communicated to about where it is that we're going. You know,
Awesome.
and what needs to be done.
Great. Great. So you heard it. This is the message for today. Quit talking, start the journey of transformation, start to listen to people. And we encourage you to join our Facebook group, connect with us on LinkedIn, check out our Instagram account. And the most important thing is that we are having something special on December the 19th. We will be, as Dr. McKinsey said, one mission, one vision. We are three perspectives sharing one vision or one mission, and we will be talking about how to become or sharing with you the formula of becoming a VIP leader, a leader who walks with values, integrity, and principles. We encourage you to be there on the webinar or presentation, whatever you want to call it, so you can learn the formula and start leading as a VIP leader, the new VIP definition, as we say. It's not the red carpet, it's your journey, it's you as a human being, and it's you as a leader. All right? Any final word before we close out?
Just thank you. Just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for this time. Thank you for also sharing your wisdom, each one of you, and also for just giving so much this conversation our goal. And I'm sure that it's not just for the audience, but it's also for ourselves. So just want to say thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Dr. McKinsey, final word?
yeah, just the webinar will be a great way to end 2025 as a leader, to be able to pour into yourself, ending 2025, but also it's a great way to begin to prepare to elevate in 2026. So the webinar in December
Exactly.
is going to do that, closing out the year strong, finishing strong, but then also getting prepared to be able to move into 2026. So we hope everybody will register and join us on in December. It's going to be a phenomenal webinar. I
I wanted
promise you.
to add something else. It's
Go
so
ahead.
critical what we're talking about here. This webinar is going to be talking about three important things that we're missing in the world: integrity,
hmm
principles, and values. It's nothing light. We're talking about something that can transform lives, families, businesses, communities, nations.
hmm
So I really believe we need to put more emphasis about this is not just leadership. They are the elements that they will increase our leadership style, but our lives too.
Thank you. Well, you heard it. Until next week,
Bye
see ya.
bye. Have a wonderful time.
We'll see y'all next
You
week
too.
at the tabletop.
Alright, that's it for this week's Table Talk Wednesdays. If this conversation sparks something for you, don't just scroll past it. We want you to share this with someone who leads or want to lead with character at the center. Also, we want you to drop your thoughts in the comments. Trust me, we read everyone. And if you believe that your voice could add something to this movement, don't hesitate to reach out. We will be back next Wednesday with another conversation that matters. Until then, lead with truth, lead with courage, and most of all, lead with character. Peace upon you.